And we're live. Folks, welcome to the Thursday Live. We're an hour earlier this year. I really wanted to make sure that I was at the most convenient time possible to get Marc and Matt on to chat about their firefighting world and the fitness culture there, because we don't cover it that much here. We cover a lot of military stuff, but I want to make sure the whole sheepdog community is represented. So once I'm done my thing here and going over current events, we're going to get right into the conversation with Marc and Matt, who are two Canadian firefighters, improving the culture on fitness and health. So we'll be chatting with them in a very short while. And today, guys, I wanted to go over a few things. We're going to start with a moment of share and chill. I've got some big news, though, before that we even start. I'm going to go to San Antonio in February. Why? Here, I'll give you a hint. Can you guys see that? Can you guys see that? I think it's backwards. If it's backwards, then let me explain. This is my Grunt Style mug. Yes, I'll be going down to Texas to chat with Tim on his podcast with the Grunt Style Foundation and Grunt Style about my new book, Harden the Fuck Up. He wrote the foreword, so it's only fitting that I come down and chat about it. I can't tell you how pumped I am. Man, if 6 years ago is when I left my teaching career, if you had told me I'd be going to the United States, I'll be going down to Texas to chat about my second book that has Tim Jensen writing the foreword to, I'd be like, dude, you're smoking something funny. You're smoking something funny. But hey, this is what happens when you take your shot, right? So I'm super grateful. I'm super thankful for getting the opportunity to go down and have a chat. I don't know when it's going to be published, but I got my plane tickets. It's confirmed, so I can't wait. So you're definitely going to want to tune into that. I'll definitely be posting that here in the community. Don't you worry. Guys, if this is your first time tuning in, make sure to hit like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to leave a comment. Say, hey, it's my first time here. I'm a Hard to Kill podcast live broadcast virgin. Just drop that. All right. Love to know where you guys are tuning in from and sharing some comments. So what's in the news today, guys? Well, before we even get into that, we're going to look at some stuff on the internet. So this is where you can get the book. If you guys were not tracking, you go to my website, Harden Up Book. I sent one out to Dallas Alexander, because he was gracious enough to leave a comment for the book, a testimonial, one might say. And so I was like, bro, you got to get a book. So I sent him out a signed copy. I also sent him out a little gift here. So bear with me here, guys. It's a little inside joke, but let me play this here. Hopefully this works.
Take 5. We got a book. Dave's new book, Harden the Fuck Up, but no nonsense fitness insights from the world's leading experts to make you hard to kill. What's in the present?
What is it?
Butter crock, the best way to serve and store fresh butter.
Seriously.
Is this actually what it is? That would be amazing. Because I love butter. Gigi, yes. I hope you're recording.
So I said Dallas, a literal butter crock. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a butter dish. I swear by them. I only learned about it because I'm married to a French Canadian. She's like, yeah, this is how we consume butter. I don't know. I'm like Anglo-Irish. We just put the butter on the counter in like a dish, right? No, they have this little thing. They call it un beurrier in French. It's got the butter in it, and then you flip it upside down. It's got some water in it. It keeps your butter fresher, longer. I was like, that's really cool. Dallas happens to be a connoisseur of butter. So I sent that out to him. He's got a new life getting started out in Tennessee. So I wanted to send him a little housewarming present. So there you go. Harden the Fuck Up in Dallas's hands. And you can get your copy on Amazon today. If you guys want to know more about what's in the book and like how to implement stuff, you can head to my free community. The link is here in the description. I've got one of the challenges here for the Harden Up book, and I've also started dumping all of my resources. So my entire life's work is here for free. You can just come into the group. It's absolutely free. Join the community. We're just getting started. So you can build your plan and get all kinds of goodies here and start becoming harder to kill by implementing everything that we've learned from all the podcasts. Just head to the Hard to Kill community. I'd love to see you there, and start stealing as many resources as you can and get leaner, meaner, and harder to kill this year in 2025. And that's what we're going to be going over with Marc and Matt. How are they doing it on the firefighter side? Can't wait to chat with them and see what insights they have to share. So, guys, there's a bunch of stuff that's been going on in the news. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but the Orange Man is back in office. The Orange Man is back in office. What does that mean? Well, right off the bat, right, we've got tariffs to deal with. So, just going to share with you here just a quick video of him. I think this happened like an hour ago. Is that possible? Over just an hour ago? He was talking shit about Canada, about tariffing our asses. I was like, oh man, is this really happening? So this is just a quick video here.
One thing we're going to be demanding is we're going to be demanding respect from other nations. Canada, we have a tremendous deficit with Canada. We're not going to have that anymore. We can't do it. I don't know if it's good for them. As you probably know, I say you can always become a state. And if you're a state, we won't have a deficit. We won't have to tariff you, et cetera, et cetera. But Canada has been very tough to deal with over the years. And it's not fair that we should have a $200 billion or $250 billion deficit. We don't need them to make our cars, and they make a lot of them. We don't need their lumber because we have our own forests, et cetera, et cetera. We don't need their oil and gas. We have more than any.
So what do you guys think about that? I'd love to hear it in the comments. This doesn't look like it's going away. So hold on a sec. 25% tariffs would be a bad thing for us right now. And in terms of what we're talking about here, like, I don't know what we're doing, but it speaks to the greater concern that I have for, the military and the lives of veterans and those that are involved in like the sheepdog fight. Like, there's nothing going on at the governmental level here in Canada. Like, they're literally not even in Parliament right now. Are they doing any? I'm really concerned. I'm concerned about this. Do you have an equal level of concern? This, I think, is bluster, but ultimately it has to be responded to. I don't know. Like, this is above my pay grade, but he's not backing down on this. And there's crickets. That also, like, totally kind of unrelated, but not. On the veteran side of things, there's a veteran well-being fund that has millions of dollars that I've been a beneficiary of. Haven't heard anything about it. I don't think anybody has. Is anybody working? Is anybody working here in Canada? Is anybody deciding to like put their big boy pants on? That's my concern here, folks. I don't think anybody's putting their big boy pants on, and it's getting a little bit nerve-wracking. So to follow on with that, I'm not a fan of tariffs. I'll be honest, that's going to make everything even more expensive, and I don't know what to do if that's the case. As long as I have my kettlebells and can still work out, I guess that's good. Maybe I have to cut out my gym membership. I don't know, but not good. And one thing that was good, though, that I really appreciated was the fact that Trump did mention in a speech that I'll show right here that he would bring back everybody that was discharged from the military that refused the vaccine. So listen to this.
This week, I will reinstate any service members who were unjustly expelled from our military for objecting to the COVID vaccine mandate with full back pay.
Wow. So that's a big deal. Not going to lie, that would be a massive step in the right direction, in my opinion. I haven't heard anything here in Canada that is to the same tune. So if you have, let me know in the comments. But I haven't heard anything. And I as far as I know from talking with individuals like Catherine Christensen on the podcast, there's nobody that can that has the authority to be able to do that, even the CDS. So those that were 5F'd and those that were discharged for not complying with the mandates, even if they wanted to, they wouldn't be able to bring them back. So I think the only option is a legal challenge. That's not good. In the States, they have the commander in chief, which is President Trump, and they can make that decision. we don't have the same structure. So I think it would bring us closer to getting some closure if we were able to do that. Granted, I don't know how many guys and gals would want to go back. But nevertheless, at least if you're able to give them their back pay, I think that would be a big step forward, and an apology, I think, would be in order. I mean, we still got the lawsuits that are lingering, right? The 300 that they're in the appeals process. There's another one coming out of Valor 2.0. There's one for vaccine injuries. Like, the list goes on and on and on. I don't think it's going to get any better until they actually decide to resolve this. So we'll see. Like to know what you think in the comments. So further to that, in Trump's team, I did a post last week on Pete Hegseth, right? So he's the new Secretary of Defense. I think he's been confirmed. Part of his team, he chose Stu Scheller. Stu Scheller's here in this post that I just put up on LinkedIn. It's a throwback, actually. I chatted with Stu 3 years ago at the Military Influencer Conference on my podcast. Great human being, man. And for context, Stu shat all over the chain of command when Afghanistan fell as a light colonel in uniform on Twitter and YouTube. He posted a video. It went viral, obviously. And from there, he got thrown into the brig. His career was ended, yada, yada, yada. It was pretty awful. So since then, Stu's been kind of in the background, right? He wrote a book, Crisis of Command, great book. He outlines just the way he was thinking and what he was up to. And he basically left the limelight for the last few years. And now he's back, and he's back with a vengeance. Pete Hegseth has tapped him as a senior advisor. And Stu's message is accountability, just accountability. We talked about it on the show. We had a laugh about just his time in Afghanistan and Iraq, but ultimately he wants leadership to take responsibility for the failures of the last 20 years. He's fed up with generals getting promoted and then leaving the military and then ending up with cushy jobs in the defense industry. That shit's got to go. And I 100% agree with him. So I posted this on LinkedIn. And just to read it for folks that are listening again on audio. So I knew it. The era of accountability is finally here, and Stu Scheller stands as a beacon of leadership and unwavering principles. His courage to speak truth to power and demand better from the system is being recognized and rewarded, and it's about time. When I spoke to Stu 3 years ago, his energy was electric. He's the kind of pragmatic, no-nonsense leader so many of us have dreamed of seeing at the helm of military leadership. A leader who doesn't just talk about values, but lives them no matter the cost. As a Canadian, I won't directly feel the ripple effects of Stuart's work at the DoD, but his influence will transcend borders. His push for a culture of accountability and responsibility will resonate within the veteran community, driving meaningful change that knows no boundaries. And you can listen to our full conversation. It's episode 128. It's here on Apple Podcasts. Stu's a great guy to interview, man. And we had a lot of laughs. And just as a side note, during our time in Vegas at the Military Influencer Conference, so Stu gets up and we're having drinks, right? So we're at the gala, and it's a bunch of dignitaries and important people that are giving speeches. One of those individuals was the one-eyed senator, right? His name escapes me right now. You can drop it in the comments. What's his name? He's a Navy SEAL. Anyways, he gets up to do an address. He's got beef with Stu Scheller. Stu's been like John Adam online, and so he's done his speech, and the senator starts walking off the stage, and there's kind of like it's a big audience. Like, there's a lot of people at this gala dinner, and then you notice there's like some like commotion going on over like stage right. I'm like, what's going on? I've already had a few drinks. I'm like, whatever, it's over with, right? So end of the night comes around, and then like I'm asking around, like, hey, where's Stu? We're supposed to go like finish the night and have some brews, like he's a Marine, so we're going to go hard. And then they're like, oh, you didn't hear? I'm like, no, he started playing pokey chest. He's like, hey, I want accountability from you. And so his security detail, so the senator's security detail came in and escorted Stu out. I was like, this is the best event of my life. So Stu definitely puts his money where his mouth is, and it's going to be cool to see him in the DoD for sure. So guys, thanks for tuning into that. You can go check out the episode. Like I said, it's episode 128, or go to LinkedIn. Link is there. It's on Instagram as well. But I want to bring on our two guests today. So we've got Matt and Mark. So guys, I'm just going to add you to the stage here. Hope you guys are ready. And we're going to have a conversation about fitness and there we go. I don't like that look. There we go. I like that look a lot better. So Mark, you were introduced a few months ago. Maybe it was a year ago. Actually, I can't even remember now. And you wrote a book called Fire Hall Workouts. Got it right here. Got a bookmark too because there's some spicy workouts in here. Literally just did one a few hours before getting online here. I did the Turkish get up kettlebell flow, and I recorded it so you folks can watch it later. It's a burner. I think my heart rate got up to 180 on this one, and I wanted to have you on because I don't cover the firefighting side of things very well, and I want to know a little bit more about your culture. And Mark said you absolutely have to be on with them as well to provide even more context. So thanks for showing up here on the Thursday live edition of the Hard to Kill podcast, guys. And Mark, let's start with you, man. What got you into firefighting, and then why the focus on fitness for you?
Hey, well, thanks, Dave, for having us on. Matt and I, we both wrote the book, and we just really felt like when you're operational and doing physical tasks, the baseline is going to be fitness. You have to be able to do that stuff. And we didn't feel like we were both involved in our department's fitness program, but we felt like it was missing the mark in some places. And people were sometimes confused about what to do or how to do it. And so we took that on and we wrote the book. And with the book, words are one thing and audiobooks are one thing, but we built in the QR codes on every workout. And so when you scan the QR codes, it takes you to a video explainer of the workouts and shows you the movement. So I think with firefighting, we're spread out all over the place, just like you would be, in different bases or operational posts. You're going to be spread out. So how do you share the same information to all the different people? And how do you ensure that you have quality control and quality assurance and make sure the same message is being delivered? That's why we went and put the book together. And we've gotten really good feedback on that. I think that's where we want to just add value. We both have a bunch of years of service in different departments, and we wanted to share that with some of the other departments who may not have that same type of training.
Right on. So I've got the book up here on Amazon. 100 Fire Hall Workouts, Extinguishing Excuses. So Matt, you're a co-author here of the book. What was the writing experience like, and what really brought you two guys together to decide like this to make a book like this takes a lot of effort. Just the QR codes, the workouts of themselves, and having written 2 books, you have to actually really want to do this. What was that driving force for you?
I think for Mark and I, there's a lot of people who talk a lot, and they say this would be a really good idea, or this would really help a lot of people, or, oh, if only someone could do this, or if only someone would give us that. And I feel like Mark and I both felt that, why don't we just do it? If everyone's just going to say they're going to take part or they're going to start working on it and then nothing happens, it kind of fell in our court to actually like do it. And we just kind of started slow. We're like, well, let's get workouts together. And then how can this be best perceived by people, and how can we get this in more hands so that more people can utilize it and benefit from it? So it just kind of kept evolving into, okay, well, we have the workouts. That's great. Well, how do we eliminate all of these excuses of, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. I sometimes don't learn the same as other people, so I need to see it. So then that's links to videos, and then that evolved into, well, some people are old school. They like to make notes. And so we kind of tried to incorporate all the different ways that people learn and utilize their own skills to give them something that is truly kind of like a stepping stone. So like that book isn't like the be all end all. It doesn't have everything that you need to kind of get fit or be fit, but it has a really good start. And then you're also going to see how some of those workouts are kind of built and developed, and you're going to be able to change them or go off and do your own thing, or just branch out from there. So we really kind of did this because there was a lot of excuses out there, and we wanted to eliminate as many of them as we could without kind of like shoving it in people's faces. It's like, well, this is one excuse, gone, another, gone, and then just tick them off. And then once you've kind of provided that, no one else has anything to say other than I'm either going to use it or I'm not going to use it.
So, Matt, explain to me then. I don't know the culture of firefighting really at all. I mean, one of my best friends, he's a firefighter out in the Eastern Townships here in Quebec. But aside from aspirations of wanting to be a firefighter, but I joined the military instead. That's really all I know. In the military, and I've been out almost 10 years, but even when I was in, the fitness standard was dropping, and we had been in a hot war for like over 10 years. Those are on the pointy end of the stick. Fitness was definitely part of the culture. CrossFit was huge. Like there was just you could tell there was a big push towards being very physically fit, because you knew if you were going overseas, like this job was hard. You had to be fit. And if you weren't, you're potentially going to put your life and others' lives at risk. In your culture, I mean, my perception is that like all firefighters, like you guys, you look very fit. You're all super fit. Like I see the calendars. The stereotype for me is like firefighters are fit as fuck. So explain to me then, like I hear the word excuse coming up. Is there a culture of complacency that's kind of taken over in firefighting as well?
I think it's very easy to get complacent regardless of what job you're doing or position you hold, right? But ultimately, what it boils down to is no one wants to look bad or look dumb. So whether it's fitness, whether it's a certain part of the job, whether it's pulling hose off the truck, it's all often put down to like the most junior person, let's say, to do that first. Because if they're going to make a mistake, it's like, it's okay because they're new. Whereas really it should just be like, well, someone just do it. If we make a mistake, we're here to learn. We're going to better each other. So that's kind of our culture. And not that it's necessarily a bad thing, but it just boils down to no one wants to look like they don't know what they're doing. So then that kind of transcends back to the book of like, well, I don't want to go in the gym and not know what I'm doing or have people perceive that I don't know what I'm doing. So it's just providing more resources so that we can kind of get out of this circle of like, well, I don't want to look like an idiot, or I don't want people to think that I can't do the job, or whatever the case may be. So it's just a resource, and it's just kind of more of a thought process, an idea, a strategy to attack these things, to be like, yeah, I'll be the one to make the mistake. Or if someone else makes the mistake and goes first, and like, that's okay. Like, we're here to learn, get better, and then go from there.
That makes sense. Marc, I'm going to read a part of your book for the listeners, because I want to get into this, and Matt, you set this up really well. Ego. 9 times out of 10, your ego is going to get you into trouble. Yes, you should absolutely have your own personality, beliefs, values, and morals to stand on, but those are not ego. Your ego will often lead you down a path of missed opportunities. It will keep you closed off from learning, teaching, or being a larger part of a successful team if you let it. Allowing your ego to get out of control doesn't make you the salty firefighter. It's time to let that persona die. Be more than that. Be bigger than your own identity. That's powerful stuff, man. So is that what we're talking about here? We've got a culture that is more ego driven. So therefore, as you get a little bit older, maybe you get a little bit more long in the tooth, you get a little bit more experienced. Now you've let yourself go a little bit. The ego starts getting in the way, and you're not, going to that next step and growing and allowing yourself to stay fit, be fit, and like maybe learn from the younger guys. Is that what I'm gleaning from this, Marc?
Well, I think in the fire service, you talk about culture, right? And it takes a long time to change culture, right? The way it is now, and like the military, I'm sure, like you have a pecking order, and when you're new, you do a lot more of the jobs that guys who have come before you, guys or girls that have come before you have done, right? And so there becomes built-in layers of insulation where you can hide a bit if you've been around for a bit. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to be called upon. So I think when you talk culture of the fire service, it will vary like wildly, just like it would in different regiments.
Right.
But it comes from a top-down mentality as well. So, what are the captains doing? What are they pushing their halls? Are they living that? Are they in the gym? Are they encouraging others to get in there or to train and to do stuff that's functional for the fire ground? Right? Are we training like we're going to be doing the work? Right? Like, or are we just bodybuilding, or are we just would rather, sit in a chair? Because one of the reasons we did the book and developed these systems was we're not fighting like other systems like CrossFit or, doing your TRX or Pilates or whatever. It's like, hey, let's just get moving. We need to get you guys moving and doing something, right? And overcoming that inertia that we're finding. And I've been guilty of this as well. Like, I'm tired, man. I got kids at home just coming off a thing. Like, there's other stressors in my life. The last thing I want to be doing is going in and putting in the work. But it was like a non-negotiable thing, right? Just trying to give everybody the resources that they needed to succeed. And we've tried to do that, and that's where we're trying to implement like different standards for fitness as well within the fire service, because currently there's this perception of what firefighters are supposed to be, right? And that everybody's like, oh, would you be able to pull me out of a burning building? Yeah. And the public's perception is that yes, that's what I expect, right? And we need to uphold our end of the agreement, being like, yeah, I'm gonna bust down the wall. I'm gonna come carrying all my stuff and get you out, and meet that level of expectation, and be capable and prepared, right? That's the big thing, is like what we're always trying to build our capacity, and we don't really know what we're going to get into, right? Just like you talk about that tactical athlete. Tell me when game time is. How long is the game? How long are we going to be playing? Who are we playing against? Right? Those are all things that are unknown. So when you talk about what do you have to prepare for? Well, everything.
Yeah. Yeah, you bring up a good point. And you mentioned in your book, their worst, your best. I really like that, because you get to work with the civilian population, right? Like you're dealing with folks in the community. It's not a war zone. It's a different context. And when you're called, it's an emergency. And there's some parallels there with what we do in the military, but the majority of our time is spent training and not being deployed. And when you are deployed, there's just a lot of downtime. Like, you go out, but there's just no emergency. And our goal isn't to help the civilian population, it's to kill the enemy. So like the mindset's a little bit different, but ultimately the fitness side of things still has to be of utmost importance. And I'll read just the page here about their worst, your best. And I love it, because it exemplifies what we have to do too, or what I had to do in the militaries. To anyone who thinks this is just a job, when that real call comes in, no drill, no false alarm, when people are screaming their worst nightmares without fear of embarrassment or judgment, you won't have any more time to prepare. Every second matters. They need someone who is in shape, someone who is ready, and someone who goes beyond the minimum requirements. I like that. On someone's worst day, they will not only need your best, they will demand it, and there will be nowhere to hide. No one else is coming. Read that again. No one else is coming. Do the work. Be ready for anything. You signed up to be that person responding, you signed up to give them your best. Man, do you have that in your fire hall? Because like that should be front and center, man. Like I want to put this up in my office because that's where I work out. Like that's inspiring, man. Wow. So could you get into a little bit more of a like why is no one else coming? Because that's something that I reiterate a lot here too, and I hear it a lot from influencers in the States like Tim Kennedy. Like no one else is coming. Like you are your own self-rescue. Why is that an important concept for you?
Matt, I'll let you grab that one because those are your words and they come from you. So
so there's kind of two trains of thought here, but they're both the same thing really. So if you're in a smaller town as a firefighter, whether it's volunteer, full-time, doesn't matter, and you only have, let's say, 1 hall, 2 halls, 3 halls, there like literally could be no one else coming to help you. So you could be 1 truck of guys and girls, or there could be 2, 3, whatever. They could be at another call, and you could, let's say, have a house fire or really serious car accident. And the first part to that is it could be your crew of people, and that could be it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 20, an hour, or that's it for the whole call. Right. So that would be the case for all over North America and the world. The other side to that is even if you're in a larger city, you break things down at a call into smaller groups because you're in smaller teams. So if someone is in a house searching or doing fire attack, it's still only you and your crew dealing with that specific problem. There might be another crew waiting if they need to go pull a second line in or be like the RIC team and come help you if something happens, but that continues to only go so far. So, you know, there could be a RIC team to come help you, but then beyond that, is there someone else to come help them to help you? So really, like when people phone for the fire department, there's not like a special fire department to come help the fire department, if that makes sense. So it's not only us. So like if someone was to need the military, whether it's war or some other kind of humanitarian need, like there's not a super special army that the world can call to come help them, right? So it's like that's it. Like that's kind of your insurance policy is the fire department and is the military. So there's nothing beyond that. So if you can't do the job or you're not physically fit enough or you don't prepare or take care of yourself or continue to try to learn every day and do something a little bit better, then you're going to get into trouble because no one else is going to be there to help you beyond your crew and your department. So that's kind of where that stems from, and kind of relating it back to your whole goal and idea is that the better you are and the harder to kill you are, the more capable you are. So the more physically fit, the more you know, the more you learn about your job, the more capable you're going to need, and hopefully the less reliant on someone else you're going to need to be.
Got it. Yeah. Very similar philosophies. You got to be able to take care of yourself, and then like you said, like you got to be able to be that last line of defense because there's nobody else coming.
Mhm.
That's a huge responsibility, and I noticed it when I was still in that. Not all levels appreciated that level of responsibility, and especially in what we call the combat arms, which are the ones that will literally we're not talking about the support guys. You know, they need to be fit too, in my opinion. Everybody's a rifleman, in my opinion, but especially the combat arms, you can't shirk your PT standards. You can't not be able to run a mile. You can't be overweight. Like I found that an affront to who we were, and it was just a lack of enforcement of standard. And it was always the upper echelon, right, that just let that standard go. And I was like, man, lead by example. It drove me insane. You know, like everybody else is held to a standard that they got to achieve, but because you were of a senior officer rank or a senior non-commissioned officer rank, you would get a pass. It's like, yeah, but we need you in this critical position. It's like, okay, yeah, but even more reason for you to be even fitter than everybody else and set the example. So, Matt, let's shift gears a little bit. I want to know a little bit more about the fitness side of the house for you. So, my favorite workouts are kettlebell based. That's why I did one of your kettlebell workouts. What's one of your go-tos if you have time in the gym, you just want to like freestyle. What do you typically default to when it comes to a workout?
I mean, that's kind of changed over the last couple of years, just with injuries and kids. But if I'm kind of all over. Big fan of like CrossFit style workouts or Olympic lifts or even like a bodybuilding style of workout. It all kind of depends of what's kind of been going on that week.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say if I'm on the other side of things, if I'm stretched for time and I don't have a lot of time, but I want to get in there and do something, then it's usually pick 1 or 2 or 3 exercises and just start with a certain amount of reps, whether it's kettlebell swings, lunges, and like an ab wheel. And it's like, we're going to do 30, 20, 10, and we're just going to go for, let's say the goal is 5 rounds. And if I have a little bit more time or it went quicker than I thought, then like we're going to add another round.
Nice.
Or if I feel like trash and 4 was the goal and running out of time, maybe 3, but at least I did something. And kind of like you had mentioned earlier, and Mark had mentioned earlier as well, is like that inertia of just doing something. And that's kind of like that little deposit in the bank as opposed to like not doing anything, right?
Yep. Put in the work. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you can go like balls to the walls. Just put in the work regardless. So you mentioned CrossFit. Okay. Do you have a favorite CrossFit one?
I mean, they're all bad. So no. So nothing, none off the top of my head. No.
All right. So Mark, I'll throw that over to you. If you're riffing, you're in the gym, you're like, actually, I don't have anything planned today. What's your default style of workout?
Well, I remember we both, Matt and I came both from CrossFit. Don't judge us. It was early.
Same here, man.
Yeah. Like it was revolutionary, right? People don't realize how much, like now it's just mainstream and it's been commoditized. But back then it was like, oh man, this is a major shift in terms of what everything is doing. And I remember talking to Pat Sherwood, right? He was like one of the OG guys. He came to our gym and talking with him. And I asked him the same question. I said, what do you do like when you don't know what to plan? And his advice to me really stuck. And it was like, I really try to combine something I like doing with something I don't like doing. And if you can make it as simple as that, right? It being like, oh, what is something like, I really don't like doing burpees. Okay, perfect. That's going to be one of them, right? And I really love running. Done. Workout's done, right? Yep. Combine something there. And I think one of the hardest things is really just getting going and being like, because once the body starts moving, it's going to want to keep going, and you're going to get those endorphins pumping, and you're going to be like, yeah, I got it, right? Like I feel good. And that can't be overstated, right? And, if you have to trick yourself to be like, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to row like 1 kilometer. And after 1 kilometer, if I feel like I'm just not feeling it, I'm going to get off. But I can tell you, like, once you get on and you do something and you overcome that, 4 or 5 minutes, you're going to be like, yeah, I'm into this. Like, I got this. Right. And it's something as little as that. And if you can't, you're not going to row, like, walk.
Yeah.
Right. Like, yeah. And there's times like, there's been times I've certainly felt like garbage. Right. And you talk about that in your book, which was, I think it showed a lot of courage, being vulnerable in your book, and which actually shows a lot of empathy as well. Right. And that's where Matt and I really tried to attack this and create these programs was from a position of empathy, being like, hey, I know how you feel. And I know what it's like to feel bad or to not be in the best shape. Right. But that shouldn't stop you from trying to take back that control and feel like you've got it. Right. Mm-hmm. Just sometimes people need a plan. And that was what we're trying to give them.
Precisely. Yeah. There's an overwhelming amount of information now. Mm-hmm. There's no lack of information. So the key is the implementation, but to get over that initial bit of inertia, I haven't trained in 2 years, or I haven't trained in 6 months, whatever it may be. Maybe I haven't trained in 10 years. I don't want to go back to, because a lot of individuals that I work with, their mentality is still well, when I was in, it's like, yeah, but you're not, and you're 10 years older. This isn't what you do anymore. This can't be what you do right now. So of course you're going to be stymied by this massive amount of workout, massive amount of work that you think you have to do. So you just don't even start. But in reality, you just said it. Go for a walk, man. That is it. Do something for yourself, and take back control, as you just said, is so important, and everybody can do it. And it doesn't matter your ability. It just matters that you actually put in the work. And my buddy has this expression. He's like, the only supplement you need is BHW, bloody hard work. And the bloody hard work doesn't mean that it's a CrossFit wad and you're just like sucking gums the entire time. Bloody hard work can be like, I don't feel like going for a 20-minute walk, but I'm going to put my shoes on and I'm just going to walk around the block and do it anyways. That's the hard work, man. And it's like back to CrossFit, right? Like, that's the whole scalability concept, right? That walk could be the hardest thing that somebody did all week. For me, it's not, but for somebody else, it could be. And that's awesome. Like, you're working at your capacity now. So go do it. So I'll shoot you the same question. Do you have a favorite CrossFit wad from back in the day, Mark?
Yeah, I would always like the ones that I was good at. So
yeah, of course.
I think one of the first ones I did was Helen, right? Which was kettlebell swings and pull-ups and running. And it was like, wow, that was like, man, I can't remember. Like, it was under 10 minutes and you're just like smoked. Yeah. Right. And it was fun. I think the thing I liked about those early days was the group training. And I really felt like our ability to suffer was greater in a group. And that's why, when we're at the hall and we have a designated, hey, it's gym time. Let's go. Let's get in here. We're going to do it together. I'm going to set up something, set up a circuit. And, that's non-negotiable. It happens the same time, or the best we can. But it also establishes trust in your crew, right? And it develops that esprit de corps. And that's big when you're working on a truck or working on a fire truck, because, whether you win at the call or you make mistakes and you don't get what you need to get done, nobody's pointing individual fingers, right? They're going to say your truck didn't get it done, right? They don't say one person within that. It's one group, right? So you win and lose collectively, and that's why we need to do things together.
Precisely. Yeah, I totally agree, man. The culture that evolves around, a fit group, it's not just the morale side, as a group, you're getting healthier. And that is that's a positive feedback loop. Everybody's doing a little bit better. Everybody's able to bring each other along a little bit more. And then you feed off those successes. That's part of the challenge, at least from my perspective, right? I do a lot of my stuff online, but I really miss the team aspect of a platoon, a section, right? Working together towards a goal, doing group PT, having fun challenges, incorporating that. Like, fitness really should be enjoyable, should be relatively fun, and I think we've gotten away from that in some aspects, but the big picture is like, you get to a point where you just, like, I enjoy my workouts. That's where I'm at, I do 20 minutes every day, even if it's just a walk. I do it because I actually feel really good, and once you can get past that hurdle, then life becomes a lot easier, because it's no longer something you have to do. It's just something like brushing your teeth. It's like, I don't think about brushing my teeth every day. Like, oh, I gotta brush my teeth again. Once you get to that point with your fitness, then you're set. So I want to share my favorite CrossFit wad. It's Fran. It was the one I used to hate the most because I couldn't do kipping pull-ups. And I have my last measured time was 7 years ago. I'm looking at I'm like, wow, that was a long ass time ago. I got to a 738 Fran strict, and that was like, that I did it by myself in the gym. I filmed it, sent it to my coach. I'm like, that was one of the biggest accomplishments I'd done up until then, because for me, that was like the biggest ass kicking to get there. Because initially, like my times were like 15, 16, 17 minutes. And that was like over a year of preparation to get there. Now, could I do that now? Likely not. Likely not. But needless to say, I really enjoyed CrossFit. And like, I remember when it started taking hold was when I was getting ready to deploy in 2010. So like 2009, 2010, my first workout was like in 2000, I think it was 2007. And I did it with my platoon. Two of the guys were CrossFit athletes. They were doing the opens and stuff like that. And they're like, all right, Sarge, come for a workout. And it was Fran. And I saw the reps on the board and I thought they were joking. So you can't 20, what? 2159 pull-ups. That's way too many pull-ups. They're like, no, let's go do it. I was like, oh shit. And then what's a thruster? And I was sore for 2 weeks. I couldn't move my arms. I had to take massive amounts of ibuprofen just to be able to do my job. But after that, I was hooked because the inner masochist took over. So that was my initial CrossFit experience. I really enjoyed it. So guys, I'd love to hear some final thoughts and what you think the way is moving forward. So Matt, we'll go back to you. Some final thoughts on fitness, your book, and what you think the future looks like moving forward with fitness in the firefighting community.
Yeah, so Mark and I branched out from the book. It's kind of like all inclusive now with what we're doing currently. So we have like a pin test program. So there's no kind of like, once you get on with the fire department, there's no fitness testing after that, like you're in. So
ever?
Yeah, most places there might be annual testing that you might have to meet a certain criteria somewhere, but I don't know where it is. So once you get on, like people are kind of given permission to a certain degree to not have to keep up their fitness because there's no check marks. So that's kind of why we kind of led into this pin test program. So right now what we offer is like departments can sign up and we kind of give them everything they need for their members to go through like their own fitness assessment. And if they meet like a certain bar, they'll get a pin for the year, basically saying like, I'm ready for service, pretty much. Like I'm physically fit. And then that kind of scales over the years to with age and kind of number of reps and stuff like that, so that everyone can not just to get the pin, but also see like where they sit and where they stand. So two kind of perspectives to that. One is like for the firefighters, it's like, okay, I know where I am. I know where I'm at. I know how I can improve. I know what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. But then also for, the chiefs and the community, like the chiefs can have something to brag about, that their firefighters are, more fit than another department. And then on top of that, their community, if they see the pins, like, what's that pin? Well, that pin means that I'm able to get you out of a burning building if you need. So there's kind of layers to it, but that's kind of what we're doing. I think just to branch out a little further with kind of what you asked, I think sometimes it can come across a little negative that we're hard on ourselves, but like firefighting does have a really good culture and there are a ton of people doing like all the right things. And, Mark and I aren't like the be all end all. Like we still make mistakes. We don't always do the right things, but we try. And there's so many people in this world and in this realm that like are just totally destroying it and doing great things. But ultimately, I think we just got to keep slowly changing that culture and just make it a part of like just trying to be a little bit better every day. And then kind of that last thing about like getting started and moving, kind of wanted to ask you a question because I heard this the other day and thought it was pretty awesome. But what do you think the hardest belt in jiu-jitsu is to get?
It's white belt. I literally just posted this on my on my stories. Yes, Jocko was talking about it's like the hardest belt's white. Yeah. And the reason why is because it takes the most amount of courage to actually decide, I'm going to get on that mat and get choked and feel like a ding dong for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It's brutal. And I'm going through it right now. It's the most humbling thing I've probably ever done. So for sure, it's the white belt.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just think it's it's any of those things. It's a department deciding if they're going to jump in with our program or not. It's like, well, I don't know. Like, can we trust these 2 guys? Like, is 2 guys enough to kind of help us change the shape of our fire department? Who else is doing it? It's like, well, there's a little bit of risk there for them, but jump in and they can start doing that. Jiu-jitsu, like, you just got to start, and then you're like, wow, this is the best thing in the world. Same thing with fitness at the fire hall. It's like, well, I'm going to go for a walk on the treadmill and I'm going to see what everyone else is doing. I'm just going to be in there with the crew. At least you went for a walk. Like, that's pretty big, kind of like other things you were saying as well. So I think it's just, everything's just a little stepping stone, a little drop in the bucket. And I don't think anyone's necessarily doing the wrong things, but like, we could always try to do more of the right things.
It's a great point. Great point. And yeah, great job on the website here too, guys. Like, I have to say, like, this is a pretty slick site, and that's a great initiative because everybody likes a little bit of recognition, and to have a pin, it's subtle, but signifies, hey, I'm putting in the work. I really like it. And I really like that logo there, that Hard to Kill podcast logo. That looks slick there too. That's really slick. I like it.
Yeah, well, we appreciate the support, right? And trying to get the word out to, there's going to be crossover in all our communities. And we appreciate what you're doing to improve like veteran health as well. Like, that's a noble cause.
Indeed. So Marc, I'll leave it to you. Final thoughts, and what's the best way for folks to connect and get some more information on what you're up to?
Well, if you want to find Matt and I, you can either, if you want to support us, check out the book 100 Fire Hall Workouts. You can find us at firefighterfitness.ca. Shoot us a note. We'll get back to you and ask whether or not like your department has a fitness program, because I think shockingly, when you ask, you're going to find the resounding answer is no. And we want to help departments be able to help themselves and to have their members be strong and capable, and to develop a mindset of resilience that would come through like physical training. And way too often do we see mental wellness and physical wellness separated into different genres. And there's really like an overwhelming case to be made that, physical fitness and mental wellness are inextricably linked. And through our program also, we support Boots on the Ground, which is an anonymous, it's a phone line for first responders to call and if they're in crisis. And we found like that's a really, like, we're staying in our lane doing the physical fitness piece, but we want to support the work that they're doing. And yeah, we're just trying to help improve things. And we felt just like you, that answer has to come from within the service. Like, you're not going to get the buy-in, or you're not going to get the traction if it's coming from an outside agency. And we're in a position to be able to share and help our members and move forward.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, you're bang on with your message. You guys are dialed in and doing all the right things. So, folks, definitely go. Regardless if you're a firefighter or not, the book is super well laid out. There's even every workout has a results area, which I really like, and you can take notes. The amount of work you guys put into this is just outstanding. The fact that there's a QR code for every one of these workouts, that alone is a tremendous effort. Clearly, you guys really give a shit about the community and you want it to thrive. And even for those that are no longer in the firefighting service, right, the veterans of the firefighting service, like fitness, like you said, like you can't separate the mental health and the physical health. It's the same bucket, the anima sana and corpore sano, a healthy mind in a sound body. Like, these are the things that have been talked about and expressed over thousands of years of human civilization. It's only now that we're starting to realize, oh, well, right, they're not separate anymore. They're still one. Yes, they never were separate. They've always been one. We are one unit, mind and body, and they need to be worked out. And I just, talking to a friend of mine and a fellow guest on the podcast, Hal Hughes. And he's a therapist, and he said, he's like, I've never treated somebody that has gotten better that didn't improve their physical health at the same time. He's like, it's pretty much impossible to have better mental health without improving your physical health. So he's like, basically, I'm like a personal trainer, just like you, just that I'm being paid as a therapist. And so, in this case here, you're given the tools for the fitness side of things, and then it's up to the individual to then go take the next step and look after the mental health as well. I love this message, man. Guys, thanks so much for hopping on the show, sharing what you've been up to, and let's get the military and firefighting communities harder to kill in the process. So, guys, appreciate your time here, and folks, if you have any questions and you have comments, drop them here, guys. Don't be shy. Go reach out to Marc and Matt, and you can find them on Instagram as well. If what's your handle then again, guys? I just had it here.
Which the
For on Instagram, you guys are.
We have two. One's Firefighter Fitness Canada, and then the other one's 100 Fire Hall Workouts.
Yes.
Right on. Firefighter Fitness Canada. Awesome. So I'll drop all that in the description as well, folks. And definitely want to go check them out and make sure you get your book as well. It's right here in the comments, and then I'll drop it in the description as well. So, folks, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to train hard, fight easy. Make sure to hit the like. Make sure to smash subscribe. And I'll see you guys all again next week on another live broadcast. So train hard, fight easy. See you on the next one. Peace.